well came out of. There's a lot of speed in that family. Then I came back as far as the 6th Searing. He did win over the course. He's the only one that did win on the turf course in his career, in his first start. He just got up. He was right there all the way around the racetrack, just got up, so he moves on to his next condition. And then Straight Luck might be a little bit of a sleeper in here. The Dam, she was a winner herself in her maiden special weight on the turf. They paid $80,000 for this horse. He looked very, very promising as a 2-year-old. Try him on the turf for the first time. He's had a couple of races back now as a 3-year-old. He might just be something to get out there and whistle around the track, especially with the Dam winning on the turf.
Yeah.
So those were the ones I went 9-1-6-5 and a pretty wide open second.
Yeah, I think it's wide open as well. And I went ahead and took Searing in here. Broke his maiden on the turf at Houston. Did it from in kind of a chasing position. They let him go at 9-1 that day. He really radically improved on the grass. I'm hoping that was a legit improvement and not just catching a maiden field that he was able to get up and tag at the end. I'm going to hope that maybe with Francisco Bravo, who's off to a good start here at the meet and seems to win a lot of turf races over the years, I'm going to think that maybe this guy's better on the turf. I'm with you on Cleat. I think getting him away from Oaklawn and off that synthetic back to turf where he's had some success, at least some good numbers in the past, could be good for him. So I have Cleat second, and I went 6-9, 1, and 8 in here. I'm throwing Petale in there a little bit. Claimed by Broberg away from Asmussen. That's always an interesting dynamic when one claims from the other, both very high percentage barns. And this Petale, he might have some really good speed, but he could be in a little tough after breaking his maiden at the bottom.
Yeah, it's a great betting race. And like you said, you look at all the horses in here and really only one proven winner on the turf. So we can go either way, and we all ended up on Cleat just on the back class.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's a good betting race.
That's a really interesting dash. And there's good contention in the third as well. 6 furlongs, filly optional claimer. They can be in for $50,000. These are 3-year-old fillies. Also open for non-winners of 2. And Scratch the 5. It Takes Heart, who was the 2-1 morning line favorite originally in this one.
Yeah, that really changed the complexity when It Takes Heart came out of the race. I think when you go back to it, I think Jenny's Penny is the one to beat. I mean, she was a 3 1/4 length winner in her debut, was very impressive, was able to sit off the pace. First time in against winners here at Lone Star Park, going 6.5. She was right there. She basically stalked and then flattened out. Now comes back. I think she's with the experience under her belt, race over the racetrack. I think she figures in there quite well. I don't see her on the lead. I see her sitting in a good stalking position. Again, I think she's definitely the one to beat. Wiki Leo, I think, is probably going to be the speed of the race. Ironically, Wiki Leo, the owners are good friends, and I know the name. This means fast horse in Hawaiian. So if you're a Hawaiian here tonight, Wiki Leo is your name. There he is. And she actually complimented Jenny's Penny. In her debut, she runs second to Jenny's Penny. Yeah. When they go 5, she comes back and then wins by 3. So, you definitely think when you can see one come back and compliment the other. I thought she was in there good as far as a good one in there. And then the 7, Perilous Life on the outside. I do think even though she won for a maiden 25, she definitely looks like that she's going to have the benefit of the trip around the racetrack. Mm-hmm. And we talk about, and you see it all the time, pace can make a race, but trip can make a race. Yeah. She's going to get to sit outside. I mean, ran a big number in her debut, was at the Sloppy Racetrack. Is she talented? She did sit outside. I think she's in there. So I went 2, 4, 7, and then I came back with the other Asmussen horse, Bonneview, the Iowa bred.
Yeah, I went with Perilous Life. This was a really tough group to separate because you see a lot of impressive maiden wins in here. You see some nice Beyer figs. Perilous Life scratched yesterday for this. Sometimes I like that angle. I don't know if they were maybe hoping that it would rain by now, and it hasn't rained yet because she was very impressive on the slop. She was favored to break her maiden back at Houston about a month ago and did so. I'm going to take a shot with her. I hope I can still get 7-2. This is a legitimately wide-open race, especially with It Takes Heart out. So I went 7-4-1-2. Jenny's Penny, very tough. I mean, I didn't know what to do with her. I think taking her fourth is probably too low for me because I'm with you. That maiden win was super impressive, and she kind of blows everybody away on the Beyer scale with that maiden win. But I went 7-4-1-2.
There you go. It's a good race.
It is. 2 straight really contentious races. We got a couple of horses for courses here in the fourth, 6.5 furlongs. Optional claiming race here. You can be in for $35,000. Also, it's for 3-year-olds and up, which have not won a race other than maiden claiming starter or state-bred allowance this year, or non-winners of 4. So a lot of conditions on this one.
Anytime you have that many and/ors in a conditions of a race, you're going to get tough horses.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, I think the standout bet of the night to me is it makes sense. He's a horse for a course. He's running well. Last year he won the Speightstown Sprint here on Memorial Day. Did it in impressive fashion. He won his layup prep race for that, which I think this race is somewhat. He's making his second start off of a layoff in 2023. Nifty, that beat him last time out, basically came back to win, so he comes out of a key race. He was closing down the racetrack going 6.5. Should be better. I mean, everything to me, there's plenty of speed in the race. Everything points to him. The 7, I'm the Machine. Very talented individual here. Mindy Willis has got this colt going. He came back. He beat Impress that's in this race. I think he figures in there. And then I use Algebra, the Texas bred. Been a very, very good horse ever since J.R. Caldwell claimed this horse. And then I came back with Impressed. I think you've got to use him behind all the other horses because he just hasn't beaten those other horses.
Yeah.
And if I play up the angle, if you can't beat him, why join him and try to beat him?
Yeah, he's, Impressed is my 4th pick as well. His last win looks really nice on paper, and he earned a nice Beyer, but I don't know if the body of work puts him up with the horse like It Makes Sense, who just, just seems to, I wouldn't say, I'd not say he towers over them, but on his best day, he should beat this bunch.
If he runs to his form
yeah.
that he's run at Lone Star Park, he should be the most logical winner on the night. And that's the key word, if.
Yes. And, last night was a tough one. It was tough for anybody in our line of work trying to pick winners because it was a nice night to play a few long shots and make some money because we had a lot of $20 winners.
One favorite on the night, and it was in the 2-year-old race on the first race of the card. So, you never know at the racetrack.
And I think 2-year-old races, when none of them have started, are very tough, and yet they crushed that Broberg first-timer last night, and he won by double digits. So I'm going with It Makes Sense over Algebra 2. Nothing much I can really add here. I am going 2-4-7-3. I'm the Machine is really intriguing for Mindy Willis. I've got her horse 3rd, so I'm going 2-4-7-3.
We pretty much got the exact same horses, just in a little bit of a different order.
Yeah. On we go to the 5th. These are just 3-year-olds here, an optional claimer, $50,000, and non-winners of 2 life. 1 mile on the turf. Take out the 1, Gustavo.
This was a race where you really didn't have a lot of depth as far as horses that had previously run on the turf. You sort of walk back in there. I think when you look back out of the body of work that everybody's got on the turf so far, Trace Souls, to me, when you go back to that February race, going 1 mile and a 16th in a non-2, that was his first race after a little bit of a freshening. Ran very, very well. He broke badly, was 3 wide. He gains down the racetrack, ends up being beaten 3/4 of a length. I think then he comes back. They ran him, sprinted him. He closed down the racetrack out of a sprint. Then they tried him and routed him. He got shuffled back. He really hasn't had a good trip in his last couple of trips. So I think with a clean trip, to me, I think he's the most logical horse. More line of spirit. Ran huge in the mud last time out down at Sam Houston. The race before that, he finished back behind Trace Souls when they were on the turf. Only beaten basically a length and a quarter. So I think if you like Trace Souls, you got to come back and play more line of spirit. Those 2, to me, sort of stand out as the proven horses on the turf in this race. When you get beyond those 2, you get into a little bit of eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I did think Aaron's Spirit comes into this spot. Never been on the turf. He has gone 2 turns at Delta, so he has had some experience, but he's probably from the outside going to be pressing the pace along. And then I thought Bratton who did win on the turf. I came back and used him. His numbers are a little bit lower than everybody else, but I thought Bratton was my fourth choice, so I went 3, 9, 10, 2.
Yeah, as far as Bratton goes, I think he has some dangerous speed, and he adds the blinkers, and he's drawn inside here, but I couldn't use him any higher than third in here, but we'll see how he goes. We have the same top two. The thing about Asmussen's horse that we're picking here, you know, he was an expensive yearling, but like you were saying, he tends to have a lot of trouble in his races, and what is he? Is he an off-the-pace sprinter? Is he a turfer? He did show good life in his one turf race. It does look like he's a closer, but he broke his maiden on the lead, so he's one of these where he doesn't really have yet a defined style of running. But I think he's got the best chance to win here, so I'm going to take him. And he did face some really nice horses, especially last fall. In that race at Churchill last fall, he faced Confidence Game and Rocket Can. Confidence Game was second in the Rebel at Oaklawn, $1 million race, and then Rocket Can was the favorite in the Arkansas Derby, who didn't run that well, and then went in the Kentucky Derby. So, I mean, he was well beaten by them, but he drew into some tough races. So.
Yeah, he broke his maiden at Churchill, so he's got a little talent.
Yeah.
You just don't go up to Churchill and accidentally win in your debut.
Especially not one of those open 121,000 maiden special weight races they have. So, yeah, I'm pretty similar there. I went 3-9-2-8 in this spot. On we go to race number 6, $7,500 maiden claimers here in the 6th race, 5.5 furlongs, and at this point we have no scratches out of this one.
Yeah, big wide open field. I think when you look down through there, to me, I thought the 3, Little Miss Sunshine, she was claimed in her debut for $20,000 by Carl Broberg. She runs second. That was on a sloppy racetrack going 5/8. Then they took her over to Sam Houston. They ran her in a maiden special weight, jumped her up, trying to get their money back right away. Showed speed all the way around the racetrack, got out a little bit in the run down the lane, ends up running second. Then she kind of goes for Broberg somewhat away from the races, and reappears for $7,500. She's got the numbers. She sort of, to me, towers over everybody. If she can run either one of those 2 races that she's run so far back, I do think she's going to be tough. There's no doubt she's going to be forwardly placed. If she steps away from there alertly, I think she's going to give him a lot to run at. The 4, Mischief Angel, daughter of Golden Sense. Nice race that she ran 2 races back. I mean, again, Terry Oath does a really good job with not a lot of horses started. I like the way the filly ran down the racetrack and is dropping in class. I thought she had a big shot. Went to the far outside with Leprechaun Charm as my 3rd one. Comes in here. Good effort to come off the pace again. And then I came back with the 7, Piece of Me. Showed speed, so I've got a speed on the front end and the back end, and I've got a couple of closes in the middle. 3, 4, 11, 7.
With these really short races, especially with the 5/8 turf sprints, I always like to, especially with that 4th pick, throw in a little longer shot that has good speed, because the shorter races, sometimes that blinding speed can just outrun them at the shorter distances. So I do like to include a couple of speed runners in there in these really short ones. I'm taking a little flyer here, recognizing Little Miss Sunshine. She's going to be a pretty short price. She's run 2 pretty good seconds, but hasn't shown a lot of staying power. Probably will like the 5.5. I'm going to try to beat her, though, with Leprechaun Charm on the outside here. The numbers don't stack up with Little Miss Sunshine, and I don't really like the fact that Leprechaun Charm didn't even draw a Beyer fig after a terrible start in her first debut race of this meet back on April 14th at a bottom level, then came back at this level again and ran better. I don't really like multiple time strugglers at this bottom level, but I'm going to take her and hope for a little bit of a price. Maybe she can close some ground. I'm going to go 11, 3, 9, 10. And before we move on to the 7th, we do have word of a scratch, and it was a horse that was in some of our picks back in the 4th. So if you have a program handy, we'll go back to the 4th, and they have scratched number 3, Impressed. That was my 4th pick. That was your 3rd pick, right?
I had him as my 4th pick.
No, yeah, that's right. We both had him as our 4th pick. So take out the 6, Impressed, from race 4. All right, on to the 7th. 7th out of 8 tonight, Texas bred fillies, maiden special weights, 5.5 furlongs the distance. Scratch number 4, Solicita.
Well, to heck with picking short-priced horses. I'm going with a 15-1 shot.
All right,
in this
I'm going
race.
with a long shot too. Not the
go.
same one you are, but I'm going with a long shot too.
Here's the reason why. The 7, Diva-esque,
All right.
Mindy Willis's horse, filly by Mr. Speaker. Stuart Elliott rides this horse in the debut, goes off at 8-1, runs a little bit and then just backs out of it. Since that race comes back and works 48-1, fourth fastest of a day. I see horses do this all the time. They just absolutely get dirt in their face. They don't know what the game is all about. They can come back and they can prove. I thought with Stuart Elliott staying up aboard, Stuart and Mindy always win a boatload of races. Good work. And also Diva-esque. She is a half to that colt that Mindy's got running in the fourth race.
Oh, okay.
I'm the Machine. So she's got a pedigree in there that she's got a license to be a runner. So I do think she can fit in there quite well. So I went with a bomber in this one at 15-1 morning line. Golden Slew's going to take some money coming off a layoff. Ran well as a 2-year-old. Another bomber I got in there that's, well, it's not really a bomber, but River's End, very impressed with her debut. Routing now shortens back up to a sprint. I love to play horses coming out of routes, going back into sprints, especially when they are young and only learning the game. Should run quite well in this spot. And then I finished out with the 5, Olivia's Race Day, the most qualified one in there. So I went 7, 10, 6, 5.
It's interesting. We're both trying to beat Golden Slew, who hasn't been out in almost exactly a year. Oddly enough, faced It Takes Heart, who was the morning line favorite, scratched out of an earlier race today back in this filly's debut a year ago here. To me, Golden Slew coming off a super long layoff, even though the barn does well off layoffs and has been up there atop or tied for the training lead all year. I'm going to try to beat her as well. I'm going to go with the 8 Cross Claim, Matt Hebert. Cross Claim, the works I think are kind of average, but they're steady. There's some fast works mixed in there at various intervals. The Hebert barn does well with first-time starters, so I'm going to take a shot with a firster here. I like your thinking on Diva-esque. I probably overlooked her. She could. I definitely like that she has a really nice half-mile breeze since that tough first race. But I went 8, 10. I'm taking Golden Slew second, 5 and 9. More Than Shaken is a 9-time maiden, but did show good speed going a mile last time. It shortens up.
Yeah, it was a good race, and I do like the angle. The one thing you talk about Golden Slew, I'd like to see a few more works. Only 2 works that makes you wonder there. So we're definitely going to try to beat the favorite. And
what's interesting about Golden Slew, J.R. Caldwell has her. And then they took her to Will Rogers, and her 2 works are at Will Rogers, which is interesting because did they think maybe they'd get a race into her there, and it didn't go, and so they bring her here? I'm just curious as to why she wouldn't have been training here, but who knows?
One of those magical unanswered questions of a racetrack.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably more something that handicappers think about if we kind of overanalyze. Yeah. It was just interesting. It'd be interesting to see the journey of why she ended up there. I didn't realize JR ran that many at Will Rogers. On to the 8th. Scratch the 11, Pavoski, one of the main track onlys. 5/8 on the turf here. These are maiden special weight fillies, straight 3-year-old fillies.
Yeah, normally I really don't like to play outside horses going 5/8 on the turf, especially out in the 10-hole. When you look at here, the only scratches are to the outside. But I do think Cinnamon Face, never been on the turf, but she did run a very good second last time out, going 5/8 in a maiden 25. She's a daughter of California Chrome out of an Uncle Mo mare. She's got the best last race number in here. California Chrome's babies have run very, very well on the turf. I think this filly has a license to move up. I would love her if she was anywhere in the 10-hole, but I still think she's fast enough to clear, so I went with her. I threw in a long shot for my second one. That's Loana, the 3. If you're good enough to be only beaten a length and a quarter at Del Mar in your debut, sprinting and having problems in the race, you're definitely in there live. Bart Hone does a great job. David Cabrera gets up. That filly's 10-1 morning line. I think that's very live. And then I used the 9 and the 6 to round out my picks.
So 10-7, 9-6.
10-3, 9-6.
10-3, 9-6 for Dave. I'm going with Cinnamon Face, too. I mean, put blinkers on, showed a ton of speed, was on the sloppy surface last time, but I'll try the turf here tonight. Had been off a little bit of a layoff, too, and fired well. So I'm sticking with Cinnamon Face. I did take Sugar Mama's Cakery as the second pick, another second off the layoff for Asmussen. Actually ran against Cinnamon Face last time out on April 8th. They were both coming back off layoffs. They both had decent layoff efforts, so I took her second. Happy in Heels, a speed type who's been kind of a money burner, I took as a third pick. And then Loana, I agree. I have Loana fourth. I could easily see using her higher because she did start her career in Southern California, and those first two sprint races were pretty good before she tried the turf and went to the shelf.
Well, when you get a price and you get David Cabrera up aboard, there's you got to throw a little value in because it's a wide open race.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of nice races tonight. All right,
good betting card.
It is. Well, we will look forward to your previews from down here.
I can take the night off. I've just already given them.
That's right. And then I guess Rick will be in for the weekend, but you'll obviously be in the paddock, so we'll look forward to that. Don't forget the T-shirt giveaway tomorrow, first 1,500 paid fans. Mother's Day coming up on Sunday, and then, of course, next week leading on into the Preakness. So this time of year, there's something happening every week pretty much.
Great time to be in the horse racing game, and, of course, Triple Crown Ideas. It's a Mage. Next weekend we have the Preakness, so is it Mage again?
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jim.
Appreciate it. For Dave Appleton, I'm Jim Byers. Thanks for looking in, and good luck tonight.
Woo! It's go, 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 go time. Tick, tick, boom. We're bringing the noise. Go, baby, we bringing our toys. Separate men from the boys. Chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out. Rowdy. We get rowdy, rowdy. Rowdy. We get rowdy, rowdy. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. Tick, tick, boom. You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time. Tick, tick, boom. You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, yo. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name. Like, he doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat of the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know, but no, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise, making a story, making sure his click stays up. That means when he puts it down, Top's picking it up. Let's go.
The Hennessy anyway, he never really talks much, never concerned with status, but still even in starstruck. Humble through opportunities given despite the fact that many misjudge him because he makes a living from writing raps. Put it together.
Hey you, yeah you, sitting and watching the races. Where's your swag? you don't got none. How can you even call yourself a true fan without the genuine article, Lone Star Park swag? I don't think so. Why don't you go mosey on down to the corral on the first floor? They got something for everyone. Gifts, garments, and plenty of other stuff to take a gander at. Now if that don't put a bee in your bonnet, nothing will. Still plenty of time to check out the corral. What you waiting for?
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say there. Up, up, cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
DFW's most unique dining experience is at Lone Star Park, and it's called Silks. Win big dining at Silks, featuring tiered panoramic views overlooking the racetrack, access to our reimagined all-you-can-eat buffet, betting from the convenience of your table, and so much more. Tickets are on sale now for the Thoroughbred racing season, now running through July 4th. Visit LoneStarPark.com/tickets to reserve your seats today. Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie, your exclusive home for betting in North Texas.
Right there down on the inside, coming to the wire.
Join us on Memorial Day Monday when someone will drive off in a brand new Ford Escape. We'll have great racing, live music, and family fun activities. The horses are ready. Are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant Friday evening and welcome to Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie. Main track is fast and the turf course is firm. First race coming up in 29 minutes. As always, we appreciate your cooperation and please wagering early. At this time, we ask you to please rise if you're able. Kindly remove your caps as Dixie Moody performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we've won gently streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Dixie Moody. Once again, we thank you for joining us on this Friday. Fast and firm to start the program today, with a first post time coming up in 27 minutes. If you have your Lone Star Today program handy, let's review the changes and overweights on today's 8-race card. Please note in race 1, number 2, Prime Code, has been scratched. Scratch number 2, Prime Code, from Lone Star's first. In today's second race, number 4, Supreme Capo, has been scratched. Scratch 4, Supreme Capo. And scratch number 10, Hull in a Hurry. Scratch 10, Hull in a Hurry. Number 7, Jersey Jim, 1 pound over. And please note the owner of the 2 St. Charles should just read Richard Bremer. Richard Bremer is the sole owner of the 2 St. Charles in the second race. Looking ahead to the third. Scratch number 5, It Takes Heart. 5, It Takes Heart, scratched from the third. Race number 4 begins the Pick 5 sequence today. Carry over $492 in the fourth race. Number 3, Impressed, has been scratched. Scratch 3, Impressed, from race 4. On to the fifth. Race 5 starts the Pick 4, and at this time has 1 scratch. Number 1, Gustavo. From the fifth race here at Lone Star, scratch number 1, Gustavo. In today's sixth race, number 4, Mischief Angel, 3 pounds over. Change the rider on the 6, Rosita La Cariñosa. Make it Iram Diego. Iram Diego to ride the 6, Rosita La Cariñosa.